I'm Cavin Elizabeth, and I'm a wedding photographer based in San Diego. Today's topic is going to be all about including your pets, probably mostly your dogs, in your engagement session or in your wedding. This is something that I am seeing become more and more popular as people realize how cute it is, and I know so many of you probably have pets that you absolutely love and would enjoy including in either your engagement and or your wedding photos. So the best way to go about this is to always make sure that you have a handler for the dog. I've had engagement sessions before where we don't have a handler, we have to tie up the dogs, and to be honest, it can be a little bit of a distraction if your dog tends to bark when they're tied up and they can see you, or if they start getting into dirt, whatever it may be. It just can be a little bit tricky. So if you have a home, like if you're doing them near your home, leave them there, take them out when you need them, put them back. But the best thing to do is to have somebody nearby that the dog knows who can hold them, take them on a little walk while you guys are doing photos without your dogs. So that's really the best way to make sure that everything goes smoothly, that your dog or dogs aren't stressed, and that you guys can focus on the photos rather than being distracted by your dogs when you don't need them. So I think it's a really great idea before your session, maybe that morning or right before, to have your dogs groomed. I think that this is something that the groom could do because typically the bride is having her hair and makeup done. So the groom could definitely take the dog to the groomers to have them looking their best, to make sure their fur is really nice and fluffy, there's no dirt anywhere. It's just something that really does make a nice difference in the photos, particularly if you do have fluffier dogs or dogs with lighter fur. If they've got dirt on them or if they're kind of looking a little bit, dreadlocky, it's not going to show up that nicely on photos. So definitely be sure that you get them groomed. So whenever I am shooting couples with dogs, what I always love to do is get a variety of photos. Now, the main photo that we're trying to get is one where both the couple and all the dogs, or just the single dog, are all looking at the camera. That said, not every dog is going to cooperate. It's kind of like really young children. Sometimes you just have to take what they're going to give you, and it's better to not force it because you could end up with an unhappy dog who no longer wants to be there and is much less cooperative. Now, a lot of times what I will do to get the dog's attention is I will ask the owner, hey, what gets the dog's attention? Is it calling his name? Is it making a weird voice and saying something silly? Or is it simply holding up a treat? I personally find that treats work best. It really gets dogs' attention. I recently had a session where we gave the little puppy probably like 12 to 15 treats during the whole session because it worked so well. Basically what I do is I show the dog the treat close up and I start backing away towards my camera while the owners are holding the dog and everyone's looking at me. Now it's important that if your photographer is working on getting your dog to look at the camera, that you are also already looking at the camera. Because dogs might only look at me for a split second and that is all I have. So if you weren't ready and paying attention, we might miss that perfect all at the camera moment. I've had so many situations where the dog is ready looking at me and the bride and groom are looking at the dog or just doing something. So have your eyes on that camera. Everybody's smiling at the camera. Just make sure that you're doing that when the dog is ready so that you capture that moment. Now, after I've completed that shot, I love to, of course, get shots of the couple walking the dog. I think that's a really cute way to get the dog very relaxed, and it's really fun to have a sort of candid mix in your photos. Now, the last thing I want to say for you guys is don't be afraid to squat on the ground or get really close to your dog. If you are worried that it's going to mess up your hair, your makeup, or whatever, save those photos for last. But I think it is really lovely when you get on the same level as your dog, so that you guys are all on a similar plane and it looks really intimate and really cozy and it just looks like a very loving family. So don't be afraid to get down on the ground with your dog. Just be mindful of what you're wearing. I wouldn't recommend doing this in mud, but if you're on like a concrete surface or maybe some dry grass, something like that, you're probably going to be fine just squatting down next to them. Same thing on the wedding day. And let me just say, if you have your dog on the wedding day and your dog especially is larger, it is a definite possibility that your dog will step on your dress at some point. So just be aware. Another reason to have a handler to make sure your dog does not go anywhere near dirt or mud, especially on the wedding day, so that if your dog does walk on your dress, you do not get dirty paw prints everywhere. might be kind of cute towards the end of the day, but that's not the sort of thing you want before the ceremony and before all your photos. So definitely, again, have a handler for any situation who can keep a really good watch on your dog, who can make sure they don't get into a lot of dirt before they're ready to. So those are just my top tips for including your dogs in your engagement session or in your wedding. Now, if you do have a cat that you would like to include, I know it is not super easy to take cats out in the world. I wish that I could. I love my cats and I would love to have them at my wedding, but they would probably run away and I would never find them again. So for cats, what I recommend is to have an at-home engagement session. Now, I typically only recommend at-home engagement sessions if my couples have a home or an apartment that has an adequate amount of light and a light that's of good quality. So what I will do is I will have them send me some photos of their main spaces, whether it be their bedroom, their living room, even if they have a patio, send that to me and I will make the determination if that's a good spot to shoot in. And if so, then we can definitely have your cat or your bird, whatever it is you have that you really can't quite take out of the house, we can include them in the photos for at-home sessions. Now, if you have a darker apartment, but perhaps you have a friend nearby or parents nearby and they have much better lighting, you can always do it there. I had a recent session where my friends had their puppy included and we did it at the bride's parents' house. So it was really nice and open. There was a backyard. So definitely know that you do have options if you are wanting to include non-dogs who are not easy to take out in public. You do have options for including them in your photos. Hope you guys found this helpful and I will see you guys next time. Bye!